Hello, folks. My name is Sanford Kahn, and I'm running for Congress in the California 47th Congressional District. It's kind of a strange district. Let me explain what cities are included in it. It goes from LA County to Orange County. In LA County, it includes Long Beach, Signal Hill, and Lakewood. And then it goes into Orange County, and the cities included in that are Los Alamitos, Westminster, Garden Grove, Cypress, and Stanton. There should be 8 different cities right there. If I was running as a same old candidate, just like they're running now, why run? Most candidates when they're running for office, any office, especially Congress, start out extolling all their virtues and what they've done and all that. They're nothing more than probably used car salesmen trying to sell you something, a package. I'd rather take a different road, a different journey, and say, why should I run? If I'm going to do the same old, there's no need. There's plenty to choose from. I want to do something different. The late comic actor W.C. Fields had a saying, which I agree with tremendously, that any dead fish could float downstream, but it takes a live fish to swim upstream. I'd rather be the live fish and go down a different road, the road not taken. We seem to live in a complicated age, at least if you listen to the news media and the talking heads on radio and TV. They have a profound interest in making it seem that we have difficult choices, when in reality, when it comes to voting and economic political choices, you really only have 2. Folks, we have 2 choices when it comes to our political and economic future. Either we could put in policies that will empower the individual, you and I, or policies that will empower government. There are no other choices. You could have combinations of these 2, but these 2 choices are the 2 choices you have. There are no others. The first one, empowering individuals, lead to a growing set of opportunities for success and advancement. Doesn't guarantee success, but it certainly helps. The second one, empowering government, well, we're all going to become serfs of big government. There'll be no really roadmaps to success. Government will control everything. This is not the American dream. This is not what's going to make the country wealthier and more prosperous. What I want you to do is your imagination to get an idea where I'm coming from as far as my proposals. Think of a big expansive field, big field, there's a little grass here and there. Then think of a huge bonfire on it. I mean huge, not these itsy bitsy bonfires that you roast marshmallows on. Think of a big bonfire. I want it to be fueled by the 70,000 plus pages of the IRS tax code. I'd like to have that thrown out. If we're going to have an income tax, that's fine. But I think we should go to a simple, pure 15% flat rate income tax with a large standard deduction, so those people who are at or below the poverty line don't pay any income tax. They'll probably pay sales tax, other type of taxes, but no income tax if you're at or below the poverty line. They need the money for their own survival. Above that, everybody pays 15%. I pay 15%. You pay 15%. Bill Gates pays 15%. Warren Buffett pays 15%. Although those last 2 will pay 15% on a large amount of money, that's nice. But we all pay the same rate. There's no deductions, no nothing. You keep 85 cents of every dollar earned, and the federal government gets 15 cents. The second proposal I have that I believe in strongly is not going to make me a hero of the educational establishment, the teachers' unions, and all that. Education doesn't need more money. I think I should repeat that back. Education doesn't need more money. You are not going to reform the educational system by throwing money at it. They have no incentive to reform themselves if you throw money at it. Why should they reform themselves? You'll only reform them by introducing competition, namely vouchers. The money that's spent on education should not go to the educational establishment, which means basically the teachers' unions. It should go to the parents and legal guardians of the school kids. Let them choose what's in the best interest of their children. They know best. This is empowering the parents. Let them choose whether to go to public, private, or parochial school. Only through real competition will we reform the educational system. The educational system now is educating idiots. Let me give you an example. I saw this on Jay Leno's show a number of years ago called Jaywalking, when he used to go out. He showed some young adults, like college-age adults, a picture of the Alamo. You know what they said it was? A Taco Bell. That's ridiculous. And then I saw on YouTube just recently, a few weeks ago, where they were interviewing some college students in Texas. And they asked them a question, who is Washington, D.C. named after? And one student said, is this a trick question? They couldn't figure out it was George Washington. They couldn't figure that out. Another one was, well, who did we win our War of Independence from? Not one person got that right. Great Britain. Something's wrong with the educational establishment. The only way you're going to reform it and get real change almost overnight is to introduce competition. The public school system is not going to perish. They will have to change or they'll be out of business. And trust me, folks, they are not going to go out of business. One of the side benefits of this, you'll see a large increase in number of trade and vocational schools, because not every student, man or boy or girl, man or woman, should be going to college. That's ridiculous to think that everybody has to go to college. There aren't that many jobs for all these college graduates. A lot of them are working as baristas in Starbucks and who knows where. A lot of them should be going to trade schools to learn a good trade at becoming tradesmen. And that, I think, will help a lot of them much better and not get them massively into debt. There's something else I'd like to bring up. Let's use your imagination again, and let's say you're on a deserted island or somewhat deserted, and you see a lamp in the sand. And it turns out it's Aladdin's lamp. And you rub it, and the genie comes out. And the genie says to you, well, I'll grant you one wish and one wish only. But this one wish must be expressed in one word, and that one word is a noun. So what would you wish for? Because what you wish for, what I think, is what I like to see for my district and for my country. But some people will say money. Okay, the genie puts his hand in his pocket, pulls out a quarter, gives you the quarter. Well, you say, I wanted money. And the genie says, 25 cents, it's money. It so happens you have a cheap genie. Well, then you say, I want health. Okay. So the genie says, okay, I'll grant you health. Next day you come down with a bad disease. Doesn't kill you, but it lays you up for a month or two, and you recover. And then you get hold of the genie again, and you say, well, I wanted health. And the genie says, I gave you health. I gave you bad health. One word, not health. Give you bad health. This is a perverse genie. Well, I could go on a few more examples, but for the sake of time, what I think the proper answer is, and the proper answer not only for my district, but for my country, is prosperity. I want prosperity. Now, how do you achieve prosperity? You achieve that by giving people the incentives to work and invest for the futures, by changing the tax code, by giving them the incentives to work and invest for the future. That also means, when I talked about the 15% flat rate, you get rid of the death tax, the inheritance tax. You know, people build up an estate they want to pass on to their children or grandchildren or who knows who, maybe charities. And it's done after, they build it up on after-tax income. And lo and behold, they die and the government gets their paws on it first and takes a big chunk of it away. No, should not do that. It stays with the person. They built that up. That's theirs. That's confiscation of wealth. Why produce prosperity, wealth in this case, if the government's only going to tax it away at death? You know, people talk about the big and the powerful in this country. You know something? I don't give a rat's ass about the big and the powerful, because the future of this country, and my district, and this country, does not lie with the big and the powerful. It lies with the small. Those men and women who have a dream, that want to start their own businesses and see it grow and flourish, that's where future employment and future economic growth will come from. Matter of fact, 2/3 of the net new jobs created in this country come from small businesses. That means less than 50 employees. That's the future of this country, is the small. New businesses being formed. How do you encourage this? You encourage this by giving people the incentives to work and invest for their futures. That's how you do it. You don't punish success, you reward success. Our future lies in vibrant economic growth. Another way of saying it, what I want for my district and also for my country is I want people to live and prosper under the lights of freedom and liberty and not be chained to big government, to the spoils of big government, and have them chain them and tax them to death and regulate them to death. That's not the future that I want for this country. I'd like to ask you two favors. I think I've spoken long enough and I don't want to wear out my welcome. Just two simple favors. Number one, if you agree with the thrust of my presentation, what I stand for, and I think it's fairly obvious what I stand for vibrant economic growth and expanding opportunities for all. I would appreciate it if you could share this video with as many people as possible, especially if they live in the California 47th Congressional District. A list of the cities that are in the district will be presented at the end of the viewing here. The second one is on Election Day, I very much would appreciate your vote. I'd like to conclude with a saying I have that no matter what your political philosophy is, where you're coming from, what your age is, what your economic background is, for all of us, a secure future lies in vibrant economic growth. Growth comes from the individual by getting them the tax incentives to work and invest for their futures. I appreciate your vote on Election Day, and I'd like to be your congressman in Washington, D.C. Thank you for now. Goodbye.